afternoon. This is Debbie Broughton, your Stampin' Up! Demonstrator from St. Robert, Missouri. I'm hopping on here this afternoon to show you how to make this mini journal. I'm just going to wait a few more minutes to see if anybody else hops on. If you're here, if you just add a comment, then I'll know that I am broadcasting. I first saw this journal at the Stampin' Up! Convention in November where Shelley Gardner, who is the CEO of Stampin' Up!, showed us how to make one, and then I found a YouTube video by Rose Ward that showed some exactly step-by-step how to put it together. So I'm trying to adjust my picture, but I keep adjusting it wrong. And my dog thinks that now that I'm videoing, it's time to go outside. So he's barking. Okay, we're going to call that good. And I'm going to run and put Herbie in his kennel. That way he's just going to stand behind me and bark the whole time. It's a new thing he does now whenever I get on the phone. Hold on one second. Okay, now you'll be able to hear me much better, and we won't have him barking in the background. I think he's going through the terrible twos or something lately. Every time I pick up my phone, he likes to bark. All right, now he's going to bark louder. Okay, it's 2:30 my time, so I'm going to just go ahead and get started. This is the journal, and you open it up like this. And on the inside, now you can either put pictures in here or poems. I put some Bible verses because I kind of use this as like an encouraging gift to give to someone. So I've just printed out some Bible verses and used my dies to cut them out with. And then you can decorate the pages however you like. And each page has a tab that you can pull out up here. And I leave mine blank in case they want to journal or write their own Bible verse or something, or just write their thoughts. If you're making this into like a mini photo album, you could put some pictures on here, or maybe journal about the pictures that are on the page. After you make one of these, they're so easy to put together. This is my fourth one that I've made recently. So, and what I do in the front is I have the foam sheets from Stampin' Up. They're like a whole sheet of what a Stampin' Dimensional would be. I cut it out with the playful alphabet, and I put their name down here in a coordinating color. So let's get started. I also am using up retired DSP paper, so this is going to be paper that you can't find in the catalog now. It's just some way for me to be able to use up some of my pieces. You want to start out with 2 pieces of cardboard or chipboard. I use the inserts that come with like our foil, our special DSP, because it's a little bit heavier than the white cardboard that comes with regular DSP. And I'm going to lay it down. They are 5.5 by 4 1/4. So the same size as a card base. I'm going to lay this down right here. And I'm going to make this one end at 9 1/4. Just so I can have a little bit of room. and I want to get them even, which is always one of my hard things. Then the ribbon I've decided to use for this one is going to be this black metallic ribbon. It is, hi Marianne. I know he sounds like a poor puppy, but if I don't put him in his kennel, he's going to stand right behind me and bark the entire time. He just started this a couple weeks ago. Every time I go to pick up my phone, he has to bark at me. So it's like having a 2-year-old. So I'm going to lay this across here. And I'm going to use my ruler because I kind of want even amounts hanging over the sides. So I think when I did this before, it was about 7.5. So let's see. This ribbon is really curly today. Okay, let's come this way just a little bit. So you can just measure it. I just like to do that so they're even to make the bow at the end. I have about 6.5 on that one. And about, let's just see here, 7.5 on. So I can pull it this way about 1/2 inch. And we're going to call that good. They don't have to be exact. Alright, so now I'm going to take I just kind of use the liquid glue for most of this because I like to be able to adjust things. And it's much easier to adjust with the glue than it is the stamp and seal. So again, I'm going to be sure this is on my line here and on the 4-inch line here. And I'm going to put a little glue right there and glue down my ribbon. And then I'm going to be sure that this is at 9 1/4. And I'm going to put a little line of glue here. Now, I used Bible verses in mine, but when Shelly showed it at convention and when I watched Rose Ward's video, they made it into like a mini album. They used old pictures of the family or fun times with the grandkids, different things like that to put in them. And that would be fun too. Okay, so we're going to get this evened out here. Oh, he's just going to be annoying for the whole time, isn't he? And I got this at 9 1/4, so we're gonna, I didn't think about this kind of ribbon. The glue comes right through it. The other ribbons I've used have been solid ribbons, not the sheer. Okay, so now for the front, I'm going to use, this is Retired DSP, the Fields and Flower DSP. So I have 2 pieces cut, each of them 5 1/4 by 4. No, I'm sorry. They are 5 1/2 by 4 1/4. I was thinking of a card front. And then I'm just going to add some more liquid glue here. Trying to hit the corners, especially. Just because I want this to work, I'm having a hard time. This is usually the easiest step. But it doesn't seem to be as easy when you're trying to do it live. Okay. Then I'll put some glue on this one. Being sure to get the corners. Hi, Anna. I'm glad that you could join me. we're just getting started here. Let me get some of the glue off my fingers. Otherwise, I will just be picking up the paper for the rest of the time. Okay, so these are, now if you have DSP that can go either way, you don't have to be as careful. But if you're using some that's going one way, then you have to be sure that you cut it the correct way. This is 5.5 by 4 1/4. So we're just going to lay this right on top of our cardboard. And we're going to smooth it out some. And then we're going to take this piece, which is the exact same measurement, 5.5 by 4 1/4. And we're going to smooth that out. So now you may be thinking, okay, that looks great, but what about this? That is going to be where the spine of our book is going to be. I'm just going to get this extra glue off here before I end up sticking my fingers in it. And then I really will have a big mess. Okay, so being sure that it's lined up again at your starting point and at 9 1/4. I cut a piece that is 3 inches by 5.5. So this is, you can use whatever color here that you'd like, but I went ahead and just used the back of the same paper. Again, because I'm using what I have left over, I have to kind of work with what I have. If you have a whole package of DSP, you can look through all the colors and sides and decide. But for this, I'm just going to use the back of the same piece of paper. Now, for this one, you just want to kind of put some glue here and some glue here because you don't really need it in the middle. Then you're going to line this up. Oh, he's really going to be annoying today. I'm just going to pretend like I do not hear him. Okay. So I want to be sure that that is stuck down good. Then this is going to be the middle of your journal. I'm just going to lay it over this part. I'm just going to lay this aside so that that can kind of glue and get set before I play with it too much so that it doesn't mess up. And we'll start with the next part. Okay, so to make the pages, I have 6 pieces of DSP cut at, let me just check to be sure, 4 1/4 by 5.5, so that it will cover this is going to be the pages on the inside, and we have to make it to cover the inside of the book because the first page is going to be covering this, so that's why they're going to be 5.5 by, let me see, 4 1/4 by 5.5. That is not correct. The inside, I'm sorry, I was talking about the outside. The inside DSP pages are 5.5 by 9. I knew something was wrong there. They're 5.5 by 9 because they're actually going to go all the way across. And even though it's 9 1/4, you need just a little extra there so that they don't hang out. I will write all these measurements down in my comments. I know you still hear him, but at least he's not right behind me. I can't, it's raining outside, so I can't put him outside. Okay, so we're going to take our first piece. This is going to be our first page here. And you kind of want your first page and your last page to match. So in order for this to be the page, we're going to fold in the part that we want to be the page to the inside, and this is going to be the part we glue. And that's how it's going to work for all of the pages. So we're going to turn this like this. We're going to use our bone folder. And we're going to do that for all 6 of these sheets. This is the side I want to be the page. This is the side I'm going to glue down. If I thought if I let him out that he'd be more quiet, I would be wrong. He will just stand behind me and bark. Like I said, I don't know why he started this lately, but it's like he gets jealous that I'm on the phone. And when he sees me put the phone in the stand here in the stamping room, he just starts barking. Okay. Now this one, if you notice, is this one, but this time I'm going to fold it the opposite way. And the leaves will be the pages, and the daisies will be the part you won't see. Now if you notice, this is the same as the first one because I want my back of my book to be the same as the front of the book. Not that you have to do that. You can use whatever design you would like on yours. He just gets jealous, and I think he's just going through the terrible twos. Okay, so now we have all these folded. All right, I'm going to just go try to let him out, and maybe he will now know to sit behind me quietly. Okay, he's promised me that he learned his lesson, so we shall see. So I'm going to put that, when I glue these into the book, I'm going to have all the folded sides out here so that they look nice and smooth, and all the open sides to the inside. So this is my first one, and I'm going to take it because this is how it's going to go. It's going to go like this. So I want to glue the rest of the sheets to this side. So what I'm going to do is I am just going to put the liquid glue down this side, across the bottom, and up this way, because this is going to make the pocket for the tabs that I showed you. Oh, somebody's watching us from Arkansas, Barb is, and somebody from Louisiana, and I had Indiana and South Carolina. We're just all over the country today. So I'm just going to lay this here and get it lined up so that everything will be perfect. Then I'm going to take the next page and I'm going to do the same thing. We're going to go down the edge, across the bottom, and up the side. Then we're going to take our next sheet, and again you want to line up all the folded sides to the same side, because that'll make a nice edge for the inside of your book. That's why I use the glue, because if you use this Stampin' Seal or the Seal Plus, you don't get a chance to move it once you laid it down. Okay, so this is still, everything's open on this side, so here's my next page. Once you do one of these, they'll just go by so fast to make more. Okay, so we're going to line this up. I have a secret sister at church. That's what this book is going to be for. The ladies' class picked some of our every lady took a teenager, and they're our secret sister, and we're just sending them encouraging things this year. So I think this will be pretty nice. I know that she doesn't watch my YouTube videos, so I am safe in saying that. Okay, here's the next. This is going to be the inside. And then I'm going to... Now, you can make your journal be as many pages as you would like. I just kind of got stuck on this many. I just like to look to be sure that I have it even. And then this is our last page. So we're going to take it up the side, across the bottom, and up the side. Last one. Okay, so now we have the whole inside of the book ready here. This one moved a little bit. Okay, so I'm going to take my bone folder and I'm just going to, again, kind of crease them really good so that they lay pretty flat. Now, what I like to do before I put it into the book is to do my tabs for the little tags that you put in at the top. So I have my 1-inch circle punch here, and I'm just going to try and get it in the middle and do like a half of a circle. And it's a little hard because you're going through 2 pieces. And then I just take my next page and I hold it up there so that I kind of get them all even. They don't always come out perfectly even, but pretty close. Flip this one back, get this one. Somehow I got 2 there. Okay, then get this one. And then one more. I just find it easier to do that step now than after I already have it in the book. So we're going to hope that this is dry enough to work with. And if we remember correctly, this was going... Wait. I cut my thing. No, I didn't. Okay. So, this was going to be our first page. Herbie, go lay down. Are you going to have to go back to your kettle? So I'm going to put some liquid glue over here. Oh, we're going to have to find something else for you to do when I do these from now on. He's got his ball, so he thinks that it's time to play ball right now. Okay, so... Alright. Now it seems like it says that my video went out on my laptop. I hope I'm still with you. Okay. It was just my internet. Sometimes my internet here is not the best. So now, I put that down, so that makes our first 2 pages. And then I'm going to do the exact same thing on the back here. I kind of got them a little bit off centered. Let's see. Yep. So I have to move it down just a little. I got it a little bit going sideways. So, okay. Then we're going to take this sheet and we're going to do the same for the back page. And we're going to put this so that it's even up here with the edge of the book. And we're going to fold it. And now see, we have the book. So now let's make some tabs to go inside our little pockets here. This is how I did my tabs. But like I said, if you were doing pictures, you could do them completely different. I did a piece of basic white and added some DSP and then added another piece of basic white in case I wanted to journal, in case I wanted to put down some thoughts or a different Bible verse or a poem or something. And so I made them to kind of match. I can't make them to everyone to match each page because like I said, I'm using pieces of DSP that I have left over. So sometimes I don't always have enough to make them match the page, but then I just find another piece that's coordinating. So here we go. The first piece is cut at 3 by 4. And then I have this DSP here. Not that piece. This piece. And I'm going to cut this at 2. When I cut mine 5.5 by 9 sheet of paper, I had this 3 inches left over. So that makes a perfect piece of paper for the tag. So I just have to cut it at 2 7/8 by 3 7/8 just to have a little white border around. Or you can just make it be the same size as your piece of white. I think just putting 2 pieces of DSP though, it needs something to make it more firm. So that's why I go ahead and put some basic white in there. Now to do the ribbon, I have my ribbon here. I'm going to take a little bit of the liquid glue and put it right down here. And I'm going to snip off a piece of ribbon. And I'm going to put this piece here. Then I'm going to add some liquid glue on the inside here. And I'm going to lay that down. And then I have my little piece of white that's going to go on the top. Then I'm going to turn this over. I didn't get that very much in the center. Okay. And then I'm going to cut another piece of DSP at 3 7/8 by 2 7/8. Put a little drop of glue right here. I can't see the comments anymore now because my laptop has messed up and it's not showing me comments. Let me see if I can find the comments. Nope, I can't. So if you're, that's why I'm not answering if you're putting something in the comments. Just been one of those days. It seems like it's one of those days every time I decide to do this. Okay, and then I'm going to put some liquid glue here on the back of this. And I'm going to catch that ribbon there. I think maybe because this ribbon is the sheer ribbon, I'm going to have to use some of the Stampin' Seal to keep it in there because the glue kind of just goes right through the ribbon. And then this would be, and then of course another piece of white would go in there, and this will fit perfectly into your pocket that you made. If you can get it open. Sometimes the very first time you're putting them in, it's a little hard, especially with nails, to get the pocket open. But once you get it started, they'll come in and out easily. So we're just going to slip this down into the pocket, and that'll leave the little tab that you can pull up. And then you would just continue to make one for every pocket. Like I said, they could match the paper if you had enough of the DSP to match the paper, and sometimes I do and sometimes I don't, since I'm using just what I have left over of a package. So let me show you how I decorate it some more then, in case you weren't here at the very beginning. Here's one that's all finished. This is the first tab, and it would go here. I print out my Bible verses that I want to use, and then I use my different dies to cut them out. I just went through all my dies and got some out and tried to figure out how they would look with which die. And now I have them marked, so I know every time I make one, I just make it the same. This is a punch with You've Got This. And then some butterflies from the Brilliant Butterflies, some little ladybugs that I had left over. Some little epoxy hearts that I put on this one, another Brilliant Butterfly. These are the new flower enamel pieces that are in the new catalog. I think they're so pretty. They just look exactly like a little flower there. Here's another little ladybug. Again, this is a punch, this is a die. And then I had some stars and some pearls for this page. So that's why mine looks much more bulky now, because I put in the ladybugs, the pearls. This one doesn't have any embellishments in there yet, so it looks pretty thin. But it will get thicker as you put in some embellishments. Or like I said, you can make as many pages as you like. I end up with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 pages. Well, I hope that you all can make some of these mini journals or mini scrapbooks, and when you do, add them to the comments, or if you want, you can join my page, Nana's Stampin' Friends, where everybody puts up different things they make so we can all share. I hope you have a good afternoon, and thank you so much for joining and listening to Herbie bark at the beginning. See you all later. Bye.